Sadguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Mahabharata457. As you may remember, Yudhishthira went running after Radeya, and Vyasa appeared in the middle of the battle to tell Yudhishthira, remember, Radeya's Shakti is gone. He cannot harm Arjuna anymore. I can now tell you that 5 days from today, you will be Lord of this earth. Go back to your army. Vyasa disappeared from the presence of Yudhishthira. Chapter 29, Drona harassed by Duryodhana. The fight began again. The two armies clashed, and there was a great slaughter. The night had advanced far into the middle hour. All were overcome with sleep. The war had been raging since morning. This was the first time they fought after sunset. Sleep was the one thing they all longed for. No one thought of the war. They could only think of sleep. All the soldiers were just collapsing wherever they stood, overcome with the magic of sleep. Looking at them, Arjuna was overcome with pity for all of them. In the middle of the fight, he suddenly raised his voice so that it could be heard by all and said, "Everyone on the battlefield is tired. All of us are exhausted. The darkness is very thick. We can see nothing. If you on the opposite side are also willing, I wish to suggest that we rest on the battlefield for a while. Let us relax our limbs for a while. When the moon rises, we will resume fighting." His suggestion was accepted, and it was wonderful for the soldiers to lie down and sleep. Sleep where they could. Everywhere the field was strewn with sleeping soldiers. All of them on either side blessed Arjuna. And said, "Arjuna is the only man who can think of others with compassion. God will reward him for his righteousness." The battlefield was silent now, like a child which had cried itself to sleep in its mother's arms. Everyone was under the spell of sleep. They might have slept for an hour or more. The moon rose up in the east. Red like a newly opened lotus, the moon stood in the eastern sky, scattering her beams on the dreadful battlefield. The moon, red when she rose, began to lose her redness and very slowly began to ascend in the heavens. She gleamed soft and white like the neck of a beautiful woman. The battlefield was lit up as though the sun had risen. So white was the light from the beautiful moon. They all woke up from sleep one by one. Suddenly there was the noise of all of them getting ready to fight once again. It was indeed an inhuman thing to have made the soldiers fight in the night. They were not quite awake, and they had to fight once again. Drona had lost compassion for all human beings when he became the commander of the Kaurava army. This inhuman fighting was not done when Bhishma was alive. But no one could complain. It was all in a day's work. Just 1/4 of the night was left. The battle began once again in the white light of the moon. Soon that light waned. The east was now a glowing furnace of copper red, and the sun rose in all his glory. There was joy in the heart of everyone when they saw the sun rise. Every one of them descended from his chariot and saluted the sun. The 15th day of the great war dawned. It was the 5th day of the commandership of Drona. In the light of the sun, both the Kauravas and the Pandavas saw the devastation that had been caused in their armies. But there was no time to think of all that. They had to continue the fight. Sadguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.